In 2009, Diraku aka Mossmouth released Spelunky, a free roguelike platformer in which our hero must travel through randomly generated caves to find treasure. It is hair-pullingly difficult, but extremely satisfying when you figure it out. In 2012, Mossmouth released a remake of the same game for PSN, Xbox Live Arcade, Google Games, and Steam, with remade graphics and new gameplay elements. I will be focusing more on the HD remake, but we will come back to the classic eventually. Similarly to the previous version, you have to venture through randomly generated levels in order to find as much treasure as you can. Or you can just ignore them if you want. While you do so, you have to keep an eye out for all the critters that wants to take a bite off of you, and also watch out for all the traps. To make your life less miserable, you'll mostly be using bombs and ropes, which helps you get in closed-off areas of the caves, helps you get up to high ledges, or just helps you move around more easily. You can also find some other helpful items, such as green gloves that helps you scale up walls, a compass that shows you where the exit is, and even more. You can find these items in randomly scattered wooden crates as spoil from bigger enemies, by sacrificing a pug, or just buying them from a shop. This also applies to bombs and ropes, by the way. So because of randomly generated levels and randomly placed items, no two playthroughs are ever going to be the same, and this is super duper bueno. Oh yeah, speaking of the shops, you find a lot of money? Well, good for you, you can buy a lot of things. Or if you just want to keep all the money for yourself, you can always steal the items, although there are some consequences to that. So yeah, another good point about this game is that it lets you do pretty much whatever you want, and so you can play at your own pace. Well, to an extent, but the point is that you have a lot of freedom, so again, bueno. Finally, we get the piece of resistance of the game, which is its difficulty. As I've previously stated, this game is rather difficult, mostly because even if you're equipped with awesome items, you're as fragile as a dry stick. Any mistakes you make can be fatal, and much like any other good roguelikes out there, there is permanent death, so if you die, you have to go back to the beginning of the whole game. Well, actually, you can unlock some shortcuts, but you still start with nothing. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get across here is that this isn't your baby's casual game. So what would you naturally do after dying a lot? Well, you would take more of your time to find more treasure and more items, and save some damsels along the way, which gives you 1 hit point each. But if you loaf around too much, then you get to encounter one of the main reasons why this game works so well, the ghost. It slowly follows you throughout the level, and as you would think, it has a touch of death, so you have to stay away from it as the best you can, but you also have to be careful on not getting cornered. There are complaints about it that said that, oh my god, because of the ghost I can't take my time, I can't find all the treasure I want. Well, actually, without the ghost you would never be able to learn. It prompts you to get through the caves faster and take more risks. And yes, I will say you will die a lot. And I do admit that when I first played it, and after dying a lot of times, I got just as frustrated as when I was trying to solve that freaking Rubik's Cube. Although, even if both these totally unrelated things have almost infinite replay value, you get the better deal of Spelunky because you will get a lot of thrills out of it. And you cannot save damsels with the Rubik's Cube. Anyway, as I was about to say, people are very scared about the difficulty of a game, but it's pretty much like when you first played Super Mario Bros. Or insert first game you've played here. You did die a lot, but as you keep on playing you get a lot and lot better. And with Spelunky's randomly generated levels and ghosts, it just keeps on pushing you getting better. And you get so good at it that you will ask yourself, how did I find it hard? But eventually, after enough tears and blood, especially Blood, you will finally get to the end of a game and feel so satisfying getting there. Add to all this the word menagerie of freakazoids that wants to feast on you, and this feeling of loneliness I get at times. I think this game has a lot of character. That there aren't many games that leaves me with such an impression. It's perfect. So yeah, I like the game, but is it worth buying it over the freeze version that holds itself pretty well? I would say yes, it would be worth buying, because even for me who have played the classic quite a lot, it was nice revisiting this game with new graphics, which I would say is easier on the eyes, and there are enough additions to make it worth a revisit. So in conclusion, if you're looking for a decent challenge, Spelunky HD is definitely worth a look.